Alright guys, we are back again. Can you believe it? 2 in 1 week. And the reason for it this time is my new cheapo tool has just turned up. And I'm just going to get it up on it. This is a Tooltronix demolition breaker. It's a picture of a drill. It's not what it is. It's a demolition breaker for concrete. Like I said before, my Titan one has broken recently, and I thought, why spend out the big bucks on getting something when the Titan one was a cheap one and it lasted forever and it was good. Which is a bit heavy, that's all. So I thought I'd give this a go, and it's ordered this on eBay, 130 quid just under, and it's looking up like hell, but it doesn't matter because it's in a nice case. Oh, with wheels. Don't think that's going to last very long, do you? They're a little bit... One's loose. Oh no, it looks like one's popped in. That's not good. That's supposed to be solid. Oh, eBay. So, it comes like one of those airport luggage carry-alls. You can hold it by the handle and roll it around. The foot still works. Right, let's bring you in and have a look at this. What have we got here? It is a Tooltronix, as I said before. It's a PTL-68 demolition breaker. Includes one piece 410 point chisel, a flat chisel, and a U chisel bit. I think it's a hex head. I think that's what they're getting at. It's a 14 kilo breaker, not a 15. 1700 watt, which is most important, and it's a 230 volts, so it works off a normal household plug. Let's take a look. Oh, right, clips there, clips there. There we go. Oh, they give you a little kit as well. What we got here? Some goggles and some gloves, cheapo gloves, and some goggles. Oh, extra set of brushes. That's handy. I'll explain. All motors, unless they're brushless, have these carbon brushes which send the electricity to the motor without creating a spark. And they're on these little springs, so when you get something, it has a limited life, depending on how much you use it, obviously. But even if you only use it once a year, eventually over the years it will die. These little carbon brushes are on a spring, and they're pushed against the rotating bit of the motor, and when they wear down, then the motor will stop working. It will just spark a lot and probably not do anything. So they give you a replacement set, which is quite good. You know, they accept it's not a perfect system, it's not going to last forever. So here's a set of brushes. When it does fail, you'll be up and running again. Instructions. Here's my chisels in a actual, like a drill bit tube, which is pretty good. It probably keeps the rust off them. That's the U-bit one. I'm not really sure what you use the U-bit one for, but it's there anyway. I never use that one. There's the pointy one. I never use that one. This is what I use. This is the flat one. I'm breaking up concrete to do a new patio. That's what I want to see. One of those. Here we go. Put that back together. They're never going to stay in there. It's a little bottle. Any guesses what that's for? I'm almost certain that is for the oil that goes in them. Have they provided me with any? No, they haven't. But you can fill that up with oil. I think you're supposed to use SAE 40 for concrete breakers. And it goes in here. And you've actually got an oil window. See that? So when there's no oil in there, you have to take this bolt off or this plate off and put oil in there. Again, otherwise it will seize up and break inside. You don't want that. And normally when you hold it upright, it should flood that window. It's coming through very slowly. But the oil is in there. And you get a little squeezer. And they've even got the Allen keys for the breaker. And a bolt, a spanner for this nut here to open it up and to add more oil. You just put it in there. Oh, it's a little bit tight. That is interesting because even the other ones I've had that were more expensive don't have, you got full of oil, I can see it, don't give you the tools to actually do the replacement. You have to go googling why your breaker has stopped, and then somebody online in a forum will say check the oil, check the brushes, and that'll be that. So good, happy with that. Went the extra mile, that's what it's all about. Now, I've got a handle. It's a removable handle, you just have to take the bolts off. It's adjustable, which is good. Trigger. It's broken! How dare they? Sending me broken stuff. You see that? It's got a crack on it. Just there. Split. It's really quite annoying. Oh well, it probably doesn't affect the working of it at all. I'm just going to give it a plug in, make sure it powers up nicely, and you can see why it doesn't work or it's broken. It's because there's a crack on the case right there. Does that happen to be on the side that my wheel is not working? No, it's the other side. So unfortunately, when you buy stuff cheap, these things can happen. But as long as this works, I'm not too fussed. 130 quid. You know, the cheapest one I could get at the time in one of the shops was 200, and I'm not tight. I would have bought it. I just didn't need it straight away, and I thought I'd give the cheap one a go. Plug this in, see what it does. All right. Well, that seems pretty good. Alright, well, I haven't got anything to break her up here because my garden's all done, but I am doing a job this week that's going to require it. So I'm going to get some phone footage. Won't be as high quality, but you'll get to see how it works and see how good it is at breaking up. I think it'll be alright. It's very heavy. The body is heavy. It's the whole point really, is to put the weight behind the actual breaker itself. They need to be heavy. And as long as it sort of stays in its carry case okay. It is a cheap one, broken there as well. You know, a lot of the time we don't even have it in the carry case, we just cart it around everywhere. So, no biggie there. But thanks for the extra tools, guys. Gloves which I'll probably never wear. Anyway. Cool! Alright guys, here we are at my customer's house, and I'm just doing a little concrete breaking. So let's have a look how it does. Tooltronix. You'll see that? There you go. Doing all that one-handed. It's not quite as comfortable to hold as the last one. It's a little bit because the trigger has got a big pointy trigger in the way. You can see that. This sort of trigger, but it has got a lock button which makes it a lot easier. So we lock it down and you don't have to hold that area particularly. It is a bit lighter, you can feel that, but it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. It vibrates a little bit, but so did the old one. So, pretty good. As long as it stays like that, can't complain really. Okay, so there you have it. Tooltronix, which is actually part of Laptronix, I found out with a little bit of research. One of the cheapest brands to buy on eBay for this concrete breaker. Would I recommend it? Yes and no. Again, it comes down to if it's being used for someone just breaking up a shed base or taking out an old patio and it's going to get very light use, then they would be able to use it several times and it will have absolutely no issue. For a construction worker or a landscaper that uses it a lot, I think you would benefit from slightly higher quality. As I mentioned before, it's a very small trigger button to start it off. I find that if you just lock the trigger down and keep on trying to position it, it loses its thump, if that makes sense. So you have to take your finger off, reposition it and put your finger on again, and then it will start tapping, start thumping again. If you just let it go on the lock button, it just continues to vibrate, and sometimes it takes a couple of adjustments to get it to thump again. So I don't know if that's an actual fault or whether that's just a characteristic of this particular unit, or whether it's the extra weight. Putting extra weight on it, maybe that triggers the thump again, I'm not sure. But someone that's going to use it on a daily basis, it is very hard to use on your hands. Vibrations quite a lot, and as I said, as you have to keep on using the trigger, I found after maybe 45 minutes of use, my index finger was cramping up and I had to actually switch and use my middle finger. If you had a big area to break up, this is going to become quite frustrating. But I think, so, you know, for a professional, you might want to get one that's slightly more comfortable. Nothing wrong with its ability, it does do the job. Maybe not as good as some of the really high ends, but that's what you pay a lot more money for. So I think if you just need something to get you through a difficult task, then this will do you proud. You know, the money for it, it's worth the spend. If this is something you use a lot on a daily basis, you have a landscaping company or you work in construction and you need to do this on every new project you do, and you maybe cover 20-30 projects a year, then you might need to sort of invest a little bit more. I would put in the descriptions, I'll put where you can get one of these, and also where you can get the one that I recommend, which I've used before, and I will probably go back to that. When this one keels over, I'll probably spend up maybe the extra £50 to get the slightly better one with the more comfortable trigger and the slightly more thumping power. But apart from that, that's it. As usual, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.